They say the strength of a country is in its people, especially the youth. I think this is me adding my own to it. But then what is the state of that country when their people are migrating in droves out of the country? This is what we're going to look at today on Africa in View. My name is Aghogho, Ayanagho. And after the break, I'm going to introduce my guest on the show with me today to analyze the topic. But before then, emigration is the movement of people from their country to another country permanently with no hope or plans of returning for anything. What is the reason for this, and what are the effects of this emigration in the African countries and continent as a whole? We'll see you right after the break. This is still Africa in View. With me in the studio today, I have to my immediate left, Michael Olasoji. I hope I got it right.
You're right.
He's the head of Department, Human Rights and Labor Affairs of Take It Back Movement, Nigeria.
Yes, you're right. Head of department.
I'm so glad. Oh. Welcome to the show. It's nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure to be here.
Oh, good. Anyways, and to my far left, I have the distinguished Frank Oshanugor, the editor-in-chief of African News Online.
No,
Atlanticnewsonline. My bad. I am so sorry for the mix-up. Welcome to the studio.
Yeah, it's my pleasure.
It's nice to have you here.
Thank you.
Today on the show, we're going to look at immigration in Africa and its effect on the continent. But before we do that, let's take a look first at the trending stories around Africa. So our first story of the day is Nnamdi Kanu seeks negotiation with federal government over alleged terrorism charges. Okay, so what exactly is going on with this Nnamdi Kanu issue and the federal government?
The case of Nnamdi Kanu has been a case which is very, very sensitive and very delicate. Since he has been brought back to Nigeria illegally, because the government
illegally?
They didn't follow the due process of bringing him back.
But they're the government; they can do anything.
No. The government has to follow the rule of law. So the Nigerian government is also signatory to international law. So they shouldn't have go beyond those specified law which every country or government must pass through when you are handling those kind of cases in order for that individual or that citizen to be sure of justice and fairness.
Yeah, okay. So, and that's this back and forth has been going on for years now.
Not until the best solution is for them to negotiate, discuss, have a peaceful discussion on way forward, because there's no how much you keep him. The citizens or his followers there are still there. It's an ideology that is of the mind. Even when you kill him or you put him down, the members out there, they believe what the cause in their hand is of justice and is justifiable anywhere. So it's an ideology that has been there for more than 20 or 30 years, which you shutting one down, killing one down, or putting one in DSS custody will not stop. So the best thing is just to discuss with him, find a meeting point so that there can be peace and progress in that part of the country.
So Frank, to you now, this is the best step he has taken.
Yeah, I think Mike has said a greater part of what I had in mind, because if you look at the issue dating back to when he was forcefully brought back to the country, like he said, which contravened international law rules. You know, if somebody has committed such an offense and you feel there's the need for him to come and face trial here in Nigeria, they're supposed to follow the due process of extradition. But they bundled him just like Umar Diko case that time, and you see how it failed, and that one brought us into shame during the Buhari military era, you know, because they didn't follow the due process. And that was what happened in this case. But because, well, people just feel like, okay, this guy is a bad guy. But the truth is that not until Nigerian government tells itself truth and when I say truth, operating along the line of the rule of law. If somebody has committed offense, there is a process of bringing this person to trial, and there must be a time to all these things. But the Nnamdi Kanu issue of going front and back, I see it as a kind of politics. There's so much politicization being played around it. There are forces that are interested in that matter that have made it so difficult for this guy to get out of the hook.
Well, we hope something positive comes out from this negotiation.
And if I must comment on this negotiation, I think I read this morning that there's a particular portion in the law that gives room for that within the judicial space. I'm not a lawyer, but what I read said there's a provision that can allow him to negotiate, even though the federal government lawyer was saying he doesn't have the mandate, that it's only the Attorney General that can do that. Fine, they can kickstart the process, let them resolve this matter, and let's have peace.
That would be so great. Anyway, now moving on to Dangote Refinery ships fuel to Singapore and assures petrol supply in July. We've been hearing for a while now that Dangote Refinery is supposed to start. They were supposed to start fuel production in, I think, was in March or April, thereabouts, and it was postponed. Now it's postponed again to July. What is the whole story behind all this?
Yeah, if you ask me, I think it still boils down to the regime of lies and deceit we have in this country. Because if you take your mind back to 2023, when the former president hurriedly commissioned the refinery, Nigerians were very, very hopeful that within that period, the refinery will start operating. The issue of exporting our crude to other countries to refine would have been put to a halt, And the impression was that the Dangote refinery was to fill that gap. Even though the regime that took over from Buhari also promised us that within that 2023, latest by December, one of the nation's refineries must have come back on stream. Up to today, nothing has happened. So all these things we are reading on the paper, to me, I don't feel they are all deceit until Nigerians see these things practically done. Now, they said by mid-July, according to what I read, the production of PMS would have started, meaning that there will no more be imports of fuel. Let us wait.
And at least it will bring down the price of fuel.
Let us wait and see. They are all political statements, if you ask me.
I think concerning the Dangote refinery, every foundation founded with deceit, lies, will never stand. We all know the genesis of this refinery, and we know those that came together and put the resources together, even the resources of this country that was pumped in building that refinery. See, they started with deceit, they started with lie, and that is why since the foundation is based on deceit, is based on lie, whatever they are building on it is also the same thing.
So can you name one of the lies or deceit that they...
The deceit and the lie, there is no clear picture of their operation.
Yeah, no timeline.
No timeline. They've been given different type of timeline. I know those timelines are political because the election is coming in. They want to prove something. Yeah. They want to have something to say. Not that they are ready to give, ready to render such services, at least to take Nigeria out of this mess we are, this fuel mess we are.
Maybe Nigeria.
They wanted to remove the fuel subsidy.
Let Nigeria give them benefit of the doubt that maybe something good will come out of this.
We'll be giving them.
But anyway, moving on to education. So ASUU is threatening a fresh strike, and they are giving 3 weeks ultimatum to the government. Another strike.
ASUU strike, another strike in focus. To me, there's no need for that.
Yeah, that's old wine in new bottle.
Yeah, there's no need for that, in the sense that it's like you are walking through the same route often and no changes. Then why not devise
try
another
something
method?
new?
Because at the end of the day, the students and the entire system bear the brunt. If ASUU, because the truth is that Nigeria, the leadership of this country, the leadership as we have it now and the immediate past, have not shown enough commitment, in terms of addressing the issues raised by ASUU. They have made promises and promises over time, and Look at the other time, the students were told for 1 year. What came out of it? Nothing. And it's part of that problem, or the unpaid salary that constitute part of the present grievances. And as to now, it's giving warning, telling, I think, University of, is it Ogun State University? I saw them demonstrating, giving advances. To me, it doesn't really worth it. Because, why does it not worth it? Because we have seen that in this country, strike doesn't change anything. It doesn't change anything. NLC has gone on strike 1,001 times. What does it really...
ASU has also gone on strike.
ASU has gone on strike many times. It doesn't change anything because we have a very recalcitrant leadership. We have people who are not ready to listen to you. So it's sheer waste of time and the students' time and resources of parents for them to continue to go on strike. Until some fundamental changes have come into this country. Though that is not what we are here to discuss. The fundamental changes, if we want to discuss it, it will take us the whole day. So let us, until certain changes have done, nobody is going to listen to ASU. That is, as far as the government people will not listen. Because how many of them have their children here? If your child here, you'll be concerned, but their children are not here. So they can tell you, strike until you die. It's not their business. So in order not to suffer the poor ones like us who have our children here, I will beg ASU, let's continue to move ahead until God helps us.
I think I look at it from this perspective. The ASU leadership has a role to play. Government has a role to play. When the ASU leadership, the union leaders, try to have a dialogue with the government, and when dialogue fails,
what next?
What next is industrial action.
That's a strike.
That is it. So whether strike works or not, in this country, either you like it or not, it's working because that is only the language.
It's not changing anything.
It has not worked.
When it's not changing anything,
listen, if it doesn't work, you will see that
for 1 year. Because
by the time the labor leaders calls for strike, you will see that when it's a day towards the strike, you will see government coming in, at least for negotiation. But if they don't come up with industrial action, probably before that time, when they are calling government refuses to come to the table and discuss. And in the long run, though they may not fulfill their promises 100% after negotiation, after the strike, at least even if it's 2% or 3%, of their demands, they are meeting. It's a progress. Okay. After the strike, it's something.
Well, on the African scene, we have Sudan accusing UAE of fueling the war with weapons of paramilitary rivals, or they're sending their weapons to paramilitary rivals. What do you think of that? The ongoing war in Sudan?
For me, I don't really have much to say, anything to say there.
But it's an African country.
It's an African country, but I'm still studying the development there and to understand it better. Okay. So that I don't go and goof, as it were.
Would you have anything to add to that?
What I would just have to say is, Africans, it's high time we come together. Enough of fighting each other, enough of war. Let us begin to develop our country, our continent, so that it's going to be a best place, an excellent place for each and every one of us to live.
Well, that's all the trending story we are going to look at for today. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll look into our main topic of the day. See you after the break. Welcome back. This is still Africa in View. Now on to the main topic of the day, the Japa syndrome and its effects on the African continent, especially youths emigrating from Africa to other countries or continents for survival. What exactly are the main cause or main reasons for this emigration, this mass exodus of youth out of Africa?
First and foremost, Africa as a continent, as a whole, our economy is not progressive. And African citizens, especially the youth, they don't have hope in an economy that is not progressive and is not giving answers to their questions. Where there is hope, definitely there is future. So many African youth are not seeing future in Africa because the economic is poor. The political space is doing everything to suppress their hope as citizens. So the level of immigration will definitely increase where the economy, the enabling environment for young individuals or citizens to strive is not there.
But it's not all African countries. There are some African countries that are actually doing well. Kenya was doing well or is doing well until this new tax, this thing that's causing serious problems now for them.
Majority of African country, most of their youth are out there looking for survival. And the reason why is that those in leadership, the political leaders, they don't have good plans for the present generation and incoming generation, I mean the future generation. So where there's no hope, there's no job, there's no social amenities like good roads, good education, basic things that makes youth to feel comfortable, that makes youth think, okay, in this country, at least so years I will achieve this, so years I will achieve it. Once those parameters are not there, definitely youth will look elsewhere where they can meet up with their dreams. And that is the reason why they are moving out.
Frank, what's
okay. If we take the concept of immigration, which is found within the same space, migration space, we have both immigration and immigration. Now we are talking of immigration. Ordinarily, immigration, there are many factors that inform that. It's not only this kind of hardship. Ordinarily, for instance, some used to go to other countries, migrate to other countries to acquire education. Before now, there are a good number of Nigerians who felt like going outside the country to acquire a better education than what we have here. They were not forced to go maybe as a result of bad education, just because they wanted a better exposure. Two, some people go for greener pastures, more exposure. They want to do more businesses because those countries are already developed. Then, until of recent, political instability, insecurity, and hardship is forcing more people now to immigrate. That is why it's like immigration begins and ends with bad leadership, instability. No, there are other factors that could induce immigration. But narrowing it down towards the Japa syndrome, that's the current problem now. I think that is where we are holding bad governance responsible. Because by now, our own system, let me take Nigeria for example. By now, our country is supposed to have developed to such an extent that people who want to go to other countries will not be going there, out of hopelessness. They're supposed to be going there because maybe, I stopped at first degree level, and the course I want to do, they don't have it in Nigerian university. It's somewhere in Canada, in America. Let me go there and acquire that knowledge and come back. But today, nobody's talking about what they are talking about is how to survive. That is why they are running. And the primary cause of it is bad governance, insecurity. Those are the principal causes of the current day Japa syndrome.
So migration and the migration, African migration shows that the number of migrants, African migrants, has increased from the 2000s till 2020. The last number saw it at 11 million people in Europe, especially to Europe. We have followed by North America and Asia. Now, recently there was this change in dependency because a lot of them travel through this dependency routes. Their spouse, their partners, their siblings. But then the UK last year, June or July thereabouts, decided that they are going to stop dependency visa. And that started January 1st, 2024. Now there was a backlash from Nigerians and Africans saying this is disturbing, this is stopping them from, this route that it was easy for them to take has been blocked.
Okay.
What do you think of these policies, and how has it affected people that actually genuinely wants to migrate, not emigrate?
I think, every country that has a reasonable leadership from the outset will try to identify what its foreign policy. You understand? And that foreign policy is part of the international, within the international relations balance. You must be able to identify or you understand the number of people. How many people will I accept? Those that want to migrate per year. How many people will I be able to accommodate? If we said, okay, we are running a foreign policy that is based on friendship, that want to bring everybody together, do we now make our borders so open that all manner of people come in?
But it's a boost to those countries' economy, right?
It can be a boost, but at the same time, it can be dangerous. Because if you accommodate more than what you can cater for, economically, socially, if you don't have the resources to take care of those people, you should expect criminality. You should expect a serious backlash, as it's happening now. Because a situation where if you are immigration, let me say, if in a particular year, for instance, now Nigeria said, okay, if we have a very good working government, economy. I said Nigeria will not take more than 2 million immigrants from whichever country. You understand? If we are not going to accommodate more than 2 million per year, and all of a sudden you open your borders and say they can come as many as they are, you now find about 15 million. Where are you going to get the resources to take care of those people? That's the problem.
The people are bringing in, but the people are bringing in something, right? Because most of them when they go in, they do menial labor.
For instance, okay, let me tell you now. If somebody who is not well schooled in Nigeria here, we have so many of them now, you don't even have basic school certificate. All of a sudden, you find yourself in America. And the menial job you think you will get is no longer there. How do you cope? That's the question. Because it's not like in those days where you go there, they say, oh, you can sweep the road, you can sweep the railway and make money. Go there now. Technology has changed everything. I was giving instance of petrol attendant job. In those days, people who traveled to America told us that, oh, some of them you can just arrive there, they will employ you, you become a fuel attendant, you will make money, you do this thing. But you go there now, you discover that in America,
self-service.
You now serve yourself. You come, you drive to a filling station, you bring out your credit card, you slot it in, you put, if it is 5,000 fuel you want to buy, you dispense it into your car, you drive off, no attendant. So you see, things are changing. So as things are changing, that is how some of these countries are equally changing with that. So if they come up with a policy that suits them, but does not suit you, you don't look at it as being wicked.
I think most of the civilized or Western nations, they are well calculative in terms of every policy and decisions they want to take. Before embarking on a certain decision or policy, they would have looked at it in total. What do they intend to benefit from it? So if they don't see anything tangible to benefit from it, in fact, they will even set a target. This program, for how long do we want to run it? So they are well-organized set of countries compared to Africans that we don't even put a lot of our policy into consideration to test, to know how effective, how positively it's going to affect us or not as a country or continent. So for those countries trying to control the immigration or migration into their country, they are well calculated and they don't want to put unnecessary pressure on their system.
Now, how has this immigration now affected Nigeria? Let's come back home.
Okay,
how is it affecting us? Because it causes brain drain.
Okay, the immigration or
immigration.
Okay,
the
the jackpot now, it has affected us. I have so many points, but I can take them one by one. Primarily, you know that under the Nigerian Constitution, 1999 Constitution as amended, talking about the fundamental objectives and directive principles of state policy, the government has the responsibility, constitutional responsibility, to provide for the welfare and security of every citizen of this country. But here we are, you wake up, you are not safe.
Even sleeping, you are not sure.
You are not safe. That if I'm returning from here to my house now, I will not fall into the hand of kidnappers.
Sure.
I'm not sure of that. Everybody is just there. It's only God that is protecting us. You are not safe, and your welfare, nobody takes care of your welfare. You are out of school, you've graduated, no employment. The burden of those who train you continues again because they keep on feeding you. You cannot even afford to feed yourself, not to talk of feeding other people. So, at some point, you feel so disillusioned. You become so disoriented. You begin to hate the country, hate the leadership. So the one major problem Japan has caused us is loss of confidence in our country. You know, if my country cannot provide for me, I left school many years ago, I don't have a good job, I cannot even provide for myself, I cannot take care of anybody, and my life is not safe. How do you want me to believe in that country or the leadership? Sure. So that is one aspect people fail to recognize, that the moment these things are not in place, there's no confidence.
And that covers a whole lot of points. Yes. That covers so much. Michael, I would like to hear your points on these two, but we need to go for a short break to pay some dues. Yeah. When we come back, we'll continue. See you. Welcome back. So before the break, we were talking about the effect the youth emigration is having on the nation, on the African continent and Nigeria. Michael, what do you really have to say about this?
Actually, those things which are inspiring youth, that's why you see me emphasizing on Nigerian youth or African youth, are not here. Those basic things they need are not here. They strive to get admission. They strive to even have access to loan or grant to set up small business. They don't have access to at least 5 hours or 10 hours power supplies to enhance the little businesses that they are doing. No good road, no security.
But they have been encouraged to learn skills.
They have been encouraged. After learning the skills, where is the capital to establish or to set them up? And look at those countries they are migrating to. They have 24-hour power supply. And that 24-hour supply alone is enough to boost the economy. Many of these small-scale business, they've removed the fuel subsidy. Look at the cost of petrol. When you buy a fuel, a pump price at 800 naira, 700 naira, and you will need nothing less than, for a small-scale business, at least nothing less than 6 or 10 liters in a day. Look at that cost, the cost of production. At the end, you go home with nothing.
Not.
At the end of the month, you run out.
So the system is not giving any hope for the younger generation, at least to stay. So that is why the younger ones, they are trying to move out. When they get there, these basic needs are there. They don't need to strive. That's why when they get there, they easily find it easy to grow because there's an enabling environment for them to strive and to fulfill their dreams. Even you see Nigerian youth walking on the street, you dress well, even the Nigerian police are threats to them. The security agencies are threats to them.
They are labeled. They already
have labeled. And once they speak out, the government pick them up with DSS and throw them and keep them, telling them they're trying to cause nuisance. Look at the other day, they protested peacefully in the name of NSAS. This is our demand. What ends it? Killing. And when they see all this kind of thing happening, when they want to do business, no business. Education is not there. When they speak, you shut them down.
But the government said there was no killing.
The evidences are there. The evidences are there. And we will continue to tender and prove it and show it to them.
You have more points to give.
Yeah, I have more points. Because we are talking of the effect. So when we are talking of the effect of immigration, that is to some extent, the disadvantages
Yes.
of immigration. One, I have said loss of confidence. Two, there is the brain drain is there. Our elite workforce, the professionals are no longer here. The doctors, the engineers, name them, they are no longer here. And that's a serious dent on our economy. There's no way we can grow economically. There's no way we can become an advanced country without those professionals, whether we like it or not. I remember one guy who was the best graduating medical doctor in our school that time, Edo boy. He won 7 solid awards. And that's the kind of person we need in this environment. But he has to leave because they were not ready to the system.
The system doesn't value nor respect.
Like that, we have lost thousands and thousands of them to foreign countries. So that is number one effect, the brain drain. Another point rather. Another point too I have is the fact that whether we like it or not, some Nigerians that have accumulated so much in terms of businesses, whether through their own personal effort or through stealing, but they have gotten some empires, some businesses that are running. But today, their children are immigrating because they feel the environment is not good. Those businesses are crumbling, whether you like it or not. As a journalist, I've had occasion to interview some of them. Oga, what is a succession plan for this company you have set up since you are, in terms of maybe by age or whatever, you are no longer there? Who takes over? He said, that is my greatest regret. All my children are in US. Nobody is here to handle them. So, and a lot of people are finding themselves in that situation now. So all that they have labored for before, because their children are not here, will crumble. Except for a few who are able to bring those children back in the system. Then another thing is what I call extinction of family ties. A lot of families are beginning to disintegrate. A lot of people are beginning to lose their relationship. There's no commonality again. People no longer see themselves as members of this one because you migrate to Canada, this one migrate to Japan, this one over the years.
But there's video call. They do video calls.
Video call. How much impact does that have? When you stay 5, 6, 7 years, you do not. The tie is no longer there. So those are some of the effects.
Some people lose family members back home and they can't even come for burial. Some lose parents and they can't even come home to bury them.
So those are the part of our culture that is dying. Whether we like it or not, as Nigerians, as Africans, we used to have this communal life, this affinity running in us. But today, because of the Japa syndrome, people see themselves as strange fellows now.
So do these people that migrate, right? I used to have this thought. You go there, you see what is being put in place there that you are enjoying. Why not come back to Nigeria and put it in place? The government officials that always, they go for holidays abroad, they see these things is what they enjoy, these basic things there. Yeah. So why don't come back and replicate it in the country?
Many of our politicians, they are not wired for good governance. Many of them, they go into power just for their own personal. You see, I
have a problem. That good governance or governance as a whole.
See, most of them know that as they are going out of the country, especially most of the civilized and Western countries, they are seeing good things. Their mindset when coming back home is totally different because the carcass they formed for themselves, their personal agenda and interest, they are not wired for good governance or to give good governance to Nigerians. They are wired to embezzle and to destroy the country. That's why whatever they see there, when they bring it out here, it's going to be a minus to them.
So they are fighting for their pockets.
Yes. So where they don't want a society or a country that there will be equity. Because once there's equity, then their ego and pride
will disappear. They come down from their high horses.
That is just it.
They live on.
So in addition to what Mike said, you see, Nigeria can never get better until we restructure. I said of restructuring before, our economic system. Because yes, capitalism is good. Elsewhere, capitalism is good. But Nigeria will practice what I may call that kind of individualistic or primitive capitalism, where the winner takes it all. How can one person, not out of your sweat, I'm not talking of those entrepreneurs who are able to build empires, build through their own personal sweat, but those people that find themselves in government, how can you, a lawmaker who barely had one Toyota car in the last 5 years will suddenly become the owner of 3, 4, 5 SUV cars that are worth millions. How can you be a lawmaker that did not have more than 1, 2, 3 bedroom apartment before, be having 20 houses located in different places, and you think the country will be better by then?
These are questions that Nigerians are supposed to be asking.
Yes.
Lawmakers.
You cannot give.
What are they asking?
You cannot give what you don't have. When most of our politicians get into offices in a deceit and in a fraudulent way, what do you expect from them? They are not of good character. Even before coming into office, starting from their primary election, getting to the election.
Nigerians will beg to differ. It's not election,
it's election. So we don't have election. So when they get into office in a fraudulent way, yes, in a criminal way, what do you expect from them? It's garbage in, garbage out.
Gangsterism all over.
So they, in the first place, most of them borrowed money, most of them loaned money. They sponsor themselves. That's why they will do everything possible to retain themselves, to recycle themselves into their offices. That is why it's not left for Nigerian citizens, especially the youth, to come together and form a formidable force. One, to take charge of their country, to take charge of their presence in order to have a better future. Because if they don't participate politically presently and take charge of the presence, their future will continue to be in dim.
But the government now is trying to stop this Jaffa. See what they brought out, this nurses, this new nurses law that came out, that you have to register, even though you are abroad already, working there, you have to come back to Nigeria to re-register yourself. And this, so it's like the government is still trying to stop.
Is the government? I don't know. Even the government, don't they japa themselves? How many of their children are there? Once they have vacation, just 1 week vacation, they run out of the country. Medical, they go for medical vacation. They don't lay good examples for the citizens. So even though they do everything possible to block citizens of
this, they didn't have good examples. So what example are they?
Okay, so if we are going to find solution to this japa, I have some points. One, the cost of governance is too high. How can you, in a country that cannot afford to pay 150 minimum wage, be building a house of 16 billion for the vice president? And the president came the other day. You see convoy of cars, vehicles, SUV cars following him to do what? How can you, in a country where people cannot feed, be talking of buying one SUV car for $150,000 for one lawmaker? Two, another thing I want to suggest, if we must come out of this problem, that National Assembly should be turned into a unicameral assembly. One, we don't need 2 houses. Let us have what we have in the state. You are having 360 House of Reps members, 109 senators. Doing what? What is here? What are they doing?
Policies.
Which kind of policies? They are not doing policies that are. They should reduce the number. Even if they are doing policies, 100 and something people can do the policy, because that is where we waste a lot of money that make these children to run away. If the money they have spent to buy SUV car, multiply $150,000 times the 360 House of Rep members plus the senator, it runs into trillions.
I think governments should start coming up with policies that will enhance the living of youth and citizens.
Not changing national anthem.
Not changing national anthem. And secondly, another tiers of government which we are not looking at, which will definitely bring a lot of progress or development to the citizens and to the society, is the local government. The day we get it right politically, especially at the local government, because that is where development starts from. Every citizen, both young and old, once we get it right at the local government level, we have a feel of the government positively. And that is why I'm among those that are supporting or yearning for local government autonomy. Whereby local government also at their local level come up with policies and programs that will enhance the livings of the youth. For instance, education. Build good schools. Secondly, give little grants and loans for those that come out from secondary school and university, because it's not necessary everybody goes to university.
Yeah, but do you know some of them do? They've given out some.
It's not. I'm not.
Only in Nigeria, a lawmaker goes to his place and gives out cassava stick for the youths. Another one gave out wheelbarrow. Some gave out this shoemaker. Those can be seen as, to them, it's part of upskilling the youths.
If these things are done in a good manner or with a good mind.
What's giving a wheelbarrow good manner?
Wheelbarrow, see, for instance, if the local government is fully into agriculture, wheelbarrow is useful in the agricultural sector.
Then we look at insecurities in our farms.
Local governments also have the capacity to provide security within their limits. We have the vigilantes. They have access to also secure their local government. So if the local government is threatened, they will also bring an effective progress and policies within their local government that will affect both young and old. That's where the progress will start from. Then the state come in, contribute its own quota. Then the federal government come in, contribute its own quota. But for as long as we are not getting it right politically, definitely the system will continue to fail both the young and the old.
Not to be sarcastic, but a lawmaker was beaten up by his people.
That's not started.
Maybe one has been beaten.
I know that is just a rehearsal.
It's that's a rehearsal. Okay, I am not saying we should beat up our lawmakers, Nigerian youths. But then let's go to the streets and hear from the people what they think about this topic.
So the major reason why people troop out of the country, especially our youth, it's nothing to really hide. It's something that all of us know. The problem of the country has been really tough on all of us. The economy is bad. The government's leadership is they are not really doing well in terms of taking care of the masses. And so people have no choice other than to look for alternatives somewhere else. And this, it has always been the tradition, even before now. This Japa syndrome has always been there, and it shows a certain trend. You see, when the economy is getting bad in Africa, people tend to troop out. So I don't really blame us. I don't blame the youth for them to really find an alternative, because the economy is generally bad and people want to live a life for themselves and better life for themselves and their family. I can't really say precisely that this is the policy that's supposed to be in place, but if people take responsibility for what they are elected to do or what they are appointed to do, those policies will come in naturally and it will solve the problems.
Well, I feel it's because of the bad economy right now and things are not really going well. So anyways, bad structure basically and bad governance. So yeah, the proper structure is put in place. I think everything will work and there won't be any need for people to japa or leave the country, because it's sad that even a bag of rice we can't even afford a bag. They can't even afford a bag of rice. Let me not say me, because I'm living on God's grace. But then again, so yeah, people can't afford the basic needs and amenities, and it's very sad because in other countries this is just the regular thing that should be, like electricity, water, all these things are just basic amenities that shouldn't even be a problem for the government to provide for people. Because I think if all these are in place, they won't even think of Japan. The health sector is working, the other sectors are working, and I don't see any need of people if those are working, but it's not working, unfortunately, so people have to leave for their own safety.
I would probably say one, better education, affordability, just opportunities, having access, even good health, having good health, and just more jobs, more opportunity jobs. I think some of the things that I've seen done overseas is the government mandate that corporation hire X amount of new hires, and that gives them a tax break. So is that something that could be done here as well? Possibly, but there's different ways to look at it. If there's some incentive-driven policies, I think a lot of corporations here would go for it and they will start hiring. They have to start from the government level, obviously, create more jobs. I mean, Nigeria is what, number 6 or number 7 highest population in the world. You know, so the people to do the job is there.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
And we're very smart people. We are probably the number 1, maybe number 2, you know, smartest people in the world. We have the most doctors, the most lawyers, the most engineers. Why aren't we, you know, some folks are probably going to crucify me for this, but the president said, why is Nigeria so blessed and yet still lacking? And that resonated with me. We are very, very blessed. We know how to do these things. You know, if you go to some areas, you will see people actually like manufacturing shoes or manufacturing, you know, household items. It's because they know how to do these things, you know. So if we are able to kind of like tap into those talents and monetize it, Nigeria will go a long way.
Bad governance in the sense that our leaders are not doing enough. They are not even doing anything at all. Like, it didn't just start from now, it didn't start today. It started gradually and it's gotten to a level whereby I think the youth cannot bear it. Even our parents, if they have the opportunity, they would also want to leave the country for greener pastures. You know, when you are working, Nigerians are hard-working people. You can hardly find a lazy man in Nigeria. Haven't you noticed the reason why a black man, especially a Nigerian, will go to a well-developed countries and they'll be topping the charts in virtually every sector, be it the health sector, administrative, and all that. That is because we are not lazy people, but we have a very terrible government. And of course, we don't want to be like our parents. They are endured and at the end of the day, they are regretting. So, employment and a very good salary, an opportunity for one to work and earn a good living. I don't think it should cost so much to live well when you are working. People wake up as early as 4:30 every morning for a 9-to-5 job and they can't even live well. A family cannot own a car in this country, thereby working so hard. So employment, then a good atmosphere to work and earn a good living.
Welcome back. We've heard from the streets and, well, I know everybody has their opinion and their mindset. But before we go, this is the end of the show for today. But before we go, I would love to hear last words from you, Frank.
Yeah, my last word as far as this is concerned is that the issue of immigration bothers me as a person because a good number of our elite workforce, when I say elite workforce, I mean our professionals, are running away. And there's no way the country can develop when we lose our doctors, engineers, and other professionals to other countries. Who is going to develop it? Who is going to give us that idea that will take us to the moon? So I think there should be a deliberate policy, a well-planned policy to make sure that we don't create environment for people to run away. Therefore, the government should provide security. One, let the security space, let the environment be safe for people to live and pursue their ambition. Two, they should govern us well. Cut down on the cost. I keep on hammering on the cost of governance. It's too much. The money you are using to buy one SUV car for one lawmaker is enough to pay 5, 6, 7 doctors in a year. Why not redistribute this money? Why not use this money to create employment opportunity, build more industries, more companies that can absorb this workforce that is running away? Many people are running away because they don't have job. But when you create job for them, create job, people are well paid. Why would they run to America when they can get good job? You can only go on holidays there now.
That's a very good question, Michael.
From my own perspective, immigration has its own positive angle and also have its own negative effect. Presently, if the government gets its house assembled in order, those of our best professionals, engineers, that are out of the country. Definitely, what send them out of the country, once they are seeing it in the system, definitely they will come back. What are those things? Revolutionize the agricultural system. Revolutionize the power sector. Revolutionize the transportation system. Revolutionize the health sector. These sectors will provide more job employment. We provide more hope for the present generation and the coming generation. And many Nigerians will have no reason of traveling out of the country. The best brain that went out will definitely come back home when they see that there's security, there's good roads, there's good health sector, our agricultural system, we have enough food. Definitely they will come back home because there's no place like home.
And also not to forget our educational system. Well, that's all we can take on the show today. It was nice being in the studio with my guest. My name is Aghogho Ayanagho. Do follow us on all our social media handles on X, on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Instagram. We'll see you for another episode. Bye for now.